Hello and welcome to managing Oracle database instance practice. In previous practices, we learned how to install Oracle database software, how to create a database using DBCA tool, how to connect to the database using SQL Plus, how to configure Oracle Database Express, and how to connect to the database using Oracle Database Express. In this practice, we will learn how to shut down startup Oracle database instance, how to view and modify database parameters, how to view the contents of alert log file, and how to work with data dictionary views and dynamic performance views. So in the first part of our practice, let's see how to shut down and start up the database by using SQL Plus command. First of all, in order to be able to start up and shut down the database, you have to connect with a user that has the privileges to shut down and start up database like sysopr and sysdba privileges. Let's connect to the database as sysdba, for example. Again, there are four modes to shut down database: shutdown or shutdown normal, shutdown immediate, shutdown transactional, and shutdown abort. Shutdown immediate mainly used in emergency situation. So let's shut down the database using shutdown immediate. First thing, Oracle database files will be closed, dismounting the database by closing the control file, and then shut down the instance by deallocating the memory SGA and PGA and terminating the background processes. Now database is down. To start up the database, there are four modes to start up the database: either startup without any option, which is equivalent to startup open, startup no mount, or startup mount. If you go with startup mount, that means you go to stage mount. Startup no mount means reaching only stage no mount. Startup open means go to all stages. No mount, mount, then open. So startup no mount means reading only the parameter file of the database and starting only the instance, allocating SGA and starting the background processes. This is meant by startup no mount, reading the parameter file. If there is an issue in the parameter file during startup the instance, Oracle will not be able to start. So in our case, the database instance started. Startup no mount again will reach only no mount stage. So if you select status from $sign instance started in no mount state. Started means in no mount state. If you need to mount the database and go to the open stage, you have to go step by step. Because your database currently started, so you cannot do startup mount or startup open. You have to use alter database command. Alter database. You cannot do alter database open because database currently in no mount stage. You have to go step by step. Alter database mount and then alter database open. Database alter database alter database. Now if you try to select status from $sign instance, database should be open. This is how to start up your database. Let's shut down again our database and try another startup option. Let's try now startup mount. Startup mount, again it will reach to the mount stage. Mount stage means reading the parameter file, starting instance, then reading all control files and mounting the database. So first he will read the parameter file, starting the instance. Now instance started, then he will mount the database. Mounting database, reading control file. Select status from $sign instance. It is mounted. So now if we want to open the database, in order for the users to connect to your database, you have to use alter database open, not startup open, alter database open. Again, select status from $sign instance, it is opened. So this is how to start up and shut down your instance. The second part of the practice, we will see how to view and change a value of a parameter, either static parameter or dynamic parameter. Let's see a parameter called, for example, a processes. This is parameter called the processes. So Oracle return all parameters that have a processes in its name. For example, he retain aq underscore tm processes and so on. I need this parameter, processes parameter. So this is a static parameter. So if you try to change a static parameter, alter system set processes, for example, equal, I need to change it, for example, to 500 without any options, without scope. Without scope means default is both. This is a static parameter. I cannot use scope equal memory or scope equal both. It will return an error. Specified initialization parameter cannot be modified. So in order to change a static parameter, we have to use again scope equal sp file. Scope equal sp file. The value 500 will be stored in the sp file. Next time when you do a restart, the new value will be take effect. System alter. If you try to view the current value, it will return 300, not 500. Show parameter processes. So it is still 300. If we shut down the database and start up the database again, 500 will take effect, because Oracle will read again the parameter file during startup. So during startup, Oracle again will read the parameter file which has the new value 500 into memory. Let's do show parameter processes. So a new value which is 500 take effect. This is how to change a static parameter. It applied the same way it's applied to all static parameters. For dynamic parameters, in order to change the dynamic parameters, you can either use scope equal sp file or scope equal both or scope equal memory as you wish. And you can do alter system or alter session if you want to change on system wide or in session wide. For example, we have a parameter called recovery file disk size, which is the size of the flash recovery area. This is a dynamic parameter. I want to change it, for example, instead of 4560 megabyte, I want to change it to 5 giga. Alter system set db recovery file size equal 5 giga. You can use either scope equal sp file, both, memory, as you wish. If you put scope equal both, or if you omit scope equal both, or if you don't provide any scope, the default is both. So system alter show parameter, it should return the new value which is 5 giga. Show parameter recovery, so the new value is 5 giga. If you shut down the database and start it up again, it also should be 5 giga, because the default scope is both, means in memory and in sp file. Start the instance again. Database mounted, database open. Show parameter db recovery, so it is also 5 giga. This is how to change a dynamic parameter. Again, dynamic parameters can be changed either at system level using alter system command, or at session level using alter session command. There is a parameter called analyze date format, which is a parameter that controls the display for the date. For example, select sys date from dual. The current date is 20,000 of March 2000 and 19. 31, which is the day, this is the month, and this is the year. I want to change the display as and to also include hours, minutes, and seconds. So there is a parameter called NLS underscore date format. I can change it using alter session. Set NLS date format equal dd MON YYY HH24 for hours, MI for minutes, SS for seconds. Session alter. Select sysdate from dual. It returned 31 of March 2019 and the current hours, minutes, and seconds. If you exit from SQL and connect again and do select sysdate from dual, it returned to the old value because I terminate the session and I log in again to the session. You have to, if you want to change the format, you have to alter session again by using alter session set NLS underscore date format. Select sysdate from dual. So alter session means the value of the dynamic parameter will be valid only for the life of the session. Once you disconnect from the session and connect again, the value for the parameter will go to the default value. Let's see how to change a value using Oracle Database Express. Let's go to Database Express, connect as a super user like sysuser Oracle underscore for you as sysdba, login. To change the database parameter value, you have to go to configuration, initialization, parameters. If you want to search for a specific value, you can go, for example, db underscore recovery. Oracle will filter the parameters to view only the parameters that start or have db underscore recovery in their names. For example, this is db recovery file this size. I wanted to change it to for example 4 giga. You can also show SQL to see the actual statement that will be run. Here you can provide scope. The default scope is both means memory and SP file. If you want to go with scope equal SP file, you can uncheck memory. If you need to go with only memory, you can uncheck SP file. If you want to go with both, you can check memory and SP file. Click OK. So parameter successfully updated. To confirm the change, you can go with SQL Plus and show db recovery to confirm the change. So it's returned to 4 giga. This is how to change a parameter using Database Express. The next practice, which is how to view the content of alert log file, which is a very important log file for the database, which is stored important messages, incidents, and operation happen to your database. The alert log file exists under /01 app Oracle, which is the Oracle base, under diag the home directory, under rdbms, name of the database ORCL, name of the instance ORCL. In case of RACT will be ORCL1. Trace, which is the location of the text file version. If you want to go to the XML, you have to go to alert. This is the, for example, the XML version of the alert log file, which is log.xml. The text version of the alert log file, which is under a trace, called alert underscore name of the instance.log. To view the content, you can use any text editor, or you can use tail command. Tail will display the latest or the last 10 records by default for the alert log file. For example, without any option tail alert, it will show you the latest or the last 10 records of your database. If you go with tail, for example, -100, it will show you the last 100 messages in the alert log file. If you go with tail -f means it will show you the last 10 messages in the alert log file. Plus, if there's any changes happen to the database, it will automatically be displayed to the alert log file. For example, alter system sysdb recovery file dist size equal 5 giga. So again, it's automatically displayed to the screen. This is -F option. Or you can view it by any text editor like gedit or notepad in Windows if you have a Windows environment. This is gedit, how to view the content of alert log file. Last thing, in this practice we will see how to deal with data dictionary views and dynamic performance views. For data dictionary views, there is a view called dictionary. Dictionary is a view that has a list of all dictionary views. So we have around 3228 dictionary view. You can describe the dictionary, select star from dictionary. So this is the list of all dictionary views that you have. For example, there's a dictionary called DBA underscore table, user underscore table, all underscore tables, and so on. If you want to search, for example, about specific table, you can go with select owner table underscore name from DBA underscore tables, where table underscore name equal, for example, depth. So we have two tables. The first one, which is depth owned by Scott user, the second one, which is depth owned by sys user. This is how to get information about objects inside your database using the dictionary views. For dynamic performance views, again, it's called $sign views or dynamic performance views. It provides information about the performance of your database. There are many performance views. To get a list of all performance views, you can use $sign fixed underscore table. This is the list of all performance views exist under your database. For example, to get information about your instance, you can use dynamic performance views called $sign instance. Select instance underscore name, host underscore name from $sign instance. So the name of the instance ORCL, the server that hosts our database, which is called DB12C. To get information about the database, there is also a view called $sign database. You can describe the $sign database to get all columns. For example, there is a name, the creation time of your database, log mode, and many other things you can view. Select name created, for example, log underscore mode from $sign database. So this is my database called ORCL, created at 12th of March 2019. Log mode with no archive mode. We'll discuss later on what's meant by log mode. There is also a view called $sign session. There is, you can get SID, for example, username, machine from where the session established from $sign session, where username is not. So I have only one session connected to my database, which is this is user, which is my current session. This is my current session. This is the only session that comes from DB12C machine. So this is how to deal and work with database performance view. I hope this video was informative for you, and thank you for watching.